for Northwestern. The whistle blows and the first serve is up and over. Pedraza sets it over to Hannah for the first kill of the match. Penn State up 1-0.
And we're probably going to talk about Jess Merzick a lot today, but Cameron Hannah, is someone that is no slouch either. Another really powerful swing by her, and she's someone to watch too.
Jillian Grimes to serve. Navarrete receives. On the opposite side is San Giacomo. She sends it over. Now it's Merzick, blocked by Dotson and Rousseau.
And that's what Lainey Dotson does best. 10th in the Big Ten in blocks per set. Really important for her to get an early one to kind of steady this Northwestern defense.
She heads back to the service line after that big block. Sends it over. Merzick receives it. Free ball over for Northwestern. Rousseau sets it up on the slide. And it's Huseman. She gets her first kill.
Northwestern early lead 2-1 here in the early going. Good to see Northwestern kind of have that intensity, have that good spirit and fight.
Serve is up and over. It's deep, and an ace for Leilani Dotson makes it 3-1.
Yeah, it looks like Jess Merzick just kind of was a little awkward around that. I think misjudged that ball going for the dig there. A little too far away from it and goes Northwestern's way.
She goes right back to Merzick. This time it's up. A little fight at the net, and Merzick wins it.
Displaying the touch that we talked about in the open with Merzick, just kind of dinking it over the Northwestern blocker.
Now it's Cassie Kurjan at the service line, the junior from Knoxville, Tennessee. Deep and out of play. An early service error for the Nittany Lions, and it's 4-2 Northwestern. Penn State with some early miscues. Rousseau sends it over and right into the net. So back-to-back service errors for both teams, Adam.
Yeah, so 2 mistakes early. No harm, no foul. As Penn State will have Merzick serving now.
Sometimes the toughest serve besides match point for the other team is after the other team has a service error. Rousseau sets it up to San Giacomo off the blockers. Now Pedraza goes out to Markley, and a pancake, but sent right back over by Penn State. That one was Allie Holland in the middle.
Yeah, Holland hit 643 with 9 kills versus Rutgers, so no slouch either in this Penn State offense. Just hammers one right down. Northwestern had no chance there. And that's kind of the length of Penn State. We kind of talked about them leading the Big Ten in blocks, but on the flip side of that, they're very, very tall at the point of attack and can kind of put things right on the ground.
Merzick with the serve. Tight at the net goes to San Giacomo. A couple miscues by Penn State, and it drops for Northwestern.
Yeah, defensively so far, a little sloppy from Penn State. Expect a little bit more from some of their players. But Northwestern taking advantage. I mean, they'll take the free points when they can. Just kind of interested to see how this communication piece kind of flows through in these next couple of points for Penn State.
Drew Wright into serve. Merzick. And out to Markley. Big dig by Chin there. Randorf sends it over. Pedraza goes to Holland on the slide, and in between the blockers, Holland gets a kill, ties it right back up. We said it before against Wisconsin. Northwestern was in it really early, especially in that first set. Continues here against Penn State. Holland, after the kill, goes back to the service line. Sends it over, dug by Stinson. Outside to Chin, and she gets the kill.
And Maddie Chin is somebody that Coach Davis has been really, really impressed with. Obviously, transferred here, and through the early going, she's been a big part of this offense. Another part of their balanced attack. Someone that Coach Davis is really excited about and wants to see continue to improve.
On the other side, it's Markley. Stinson gets the up. Now Randorf off the blockers. But a big save out of the stands, but just falls right to the antenna. Valiant effort there by the Penn State defense, but Northwestern ends up with the point.
And you mentioned Northwestern's kind of early success against Wisconsin last game, and you almost wonder if, similar here, it's kind of the excitement and energy from playing a ranked opponent, a team with really high hopes for the season, and trying to, show that this Northwestern team, they can compete.
A little bit of chaos there on the other side of the net, and Northwestern ends up with the point. Like you said, that Penn State defense so far seems a little out of sorts.
Yeah, just a little sloppy, and I think that's still that communication. They're kind of all over the place, flinging limbs, not really focusing and kind of putting balls in good spots for their teammates.
Stinson with the serve. It's deep to Merzik. Pedraza setting up a middle. And on the other side, it's Leilani Dotson, but she's blocked by Penn State. Penn State showing why they're so effective at the net.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Trammell that time. She had a team-high 5 blocks against Rutgers, and 8th in the Big Ten in blocks per set, too. So this Penn State defense is really, really long up front. Makes things really difficult.
Mac Pedraza sends it over. Dug by right. Now Huseman on the other side, but right into the blockers. Northwestern will try again with Randorf, but into the net.
Yeah, I don't think Randorf was in the best spot there for that attack. Kind of awkward positioning. Didn't quite get a good jump on it. That ball wasn't really high enough either to kind of put it over the net. So a little bit of an unfortunate situation there for her.
Mac Pedraza going to serve again. The transfer from Ohio State, who was the Big Ten Setter of the Year in 2022. Rousseau sets up Dotson. Once again, Leilani Dotson making an impact, makes it 9-7.
And sometimes all you got to do is hit the ball hard. And that's exactly what Leilani Dotson there, right at Pedraza, but Pedraza wasn't able to kind of dig that one out. Good start early here for Northwestern.
Gigi Navarrete, the first year, gets the serve over. Pedraza setting up Hannah, but up by Northwestern. Back row hit by Wright. Now on the other end, it's Hannah again, and this time it works. Cameron Hannah targeted twice in that sequence, and she comes away with the kill.
Interesting thing about Hannah, started the year playing on the left side. She's now playing on the right side and left side, kind of more in that kind of free role, and really found success kind of with that switch against Seton Hall last week and then Rutgers last time out. So
Dotson off of the slide gets another kill. She's starting off so strong today. That's her second kill. She also has a block. So Dotson making her name known early makes it 10-8. Chin back at the service line. Sends it deep. Now Pedraza setting up her offense. It's Merzik. And that one hit the top of the scoreboard and landed on Penn State's side. So ruled unplayable, and Penn State gets the point. But a huge swing there by Merzik.
Interesting point to note here in the early going. Northwestern's hitting percentage at .357. Last time against Wisconsin, we're sub 100, so a lot more effective and efficient so far.
And Gigi Navarrete with a little miscue off the serve, and Penn State gets the ace to tie it up at 10. That was Jillian Grimes. Her 6th ace of the season. She'll place it back over the net. This time good by Navarrete. San Giacomo dug out by Penn State, and it's Hannah. Rousseau tries to just punch it over, and it goes a little bit too deep. Point Penn State.
And just a little too much mustard on that one, but good idea. There's no one back there, saw the opportunity, and that's kind of her crafty side too. Can be a willing offensive option for this Northwestern team.
Grimes, the native of Westchester, Illinois, she sends it out, and it's tied her right back up.
Seen some sloppy serves so far from both teams. Interesting to see if that continues as the teams kind of grow into the match. As things are all square here, 11-all.
2 service errors by the Nittany Lions. Dotson sends it over, and it's set up for Holland. Big swing, but Northwestern's going to send it over with a free ball. On the other side, it's Hannah, and she gets it in the corner. Cameron Hannah, big day so far.
Yeah, beautiful start from her. Putting that one in a spot no one could get to. Tucked away in the corner.
Hannah with 3 kills on the afternoon already, but more impressively, hitting 600. She's doing it effectively. Rousseau sets it up for San Giacomo, off the blockers. Penn State gets it up, now it's Merzick, and she goes right back in the corner. Jess Merzick with some finesse, placing it right in the corner.
How about that, right down the line, away from Maddie Chin. Northwestern had no shot at it, and that's what it comes down to. Just some of this talent from Penn State, really being able to put balls wherever they want to.
Serve is sent over. Rousseau goes over on 2. Alexa Rousseau, we've seen her do it so much this season. Her decision making to send it over on the second touch.
Yeah, and it's really taking that Penn State team off guard, catching them off guard a little. I mean, they're not expecting that, and just being aware of the situation and aware that she's an opportunity to kind of add to this offense.
She sends it over with the serve. A little bit of trouble by Penn State. A back row hit. And now Northwestern on the attack. San Giacomo sends it down. And San Giacomo with a big slam. Ties it back up at 13.
And that's what she's capable of. She's got really powerful arm swing when she's going. Gets it that time.
San Giacomo's second kill of the afternoon. Now it's Rousseau at the service line. That's Stark. Now to Merzick. Jess Merzick once again making it 14-13.
Painting the lines, putting it once again in a spot no one can get it to. A lot of power there. Just making it really tough for this Northwestern defense, especially if you're not going to put a couple hands in our face.
Merzick with the serve now. Goes cross court, and a quick set to Huseman in the center.
And that's a really good job by Northwestern, kind of, being creative and kind of changing the pace and kind of changing things and not telegraphing things. Very similar to what they did against Wisconsin. It was just too standard every single time. Very similar offensive mentality, but there they change things up, they switch things up a little bit, and it works to perfection.
Pedraza sets it up for Merzick in the back row. Merzick can do it anywhere on the court. Front row, back row, it doesn't matter. And there's a reason why she's been named to the Big Ten first team the last 2 seasons.
And clearly it doesn't matter what school she's at, too.
The Michigan transfer. Now the service sent over by Penn State. A little bit of trouble there by Northwestern. Now on the attack, it's Markley. Off the blockers, Penn State tries again. Back row, Merzick. Why not do it again? Jess Merzick with her second kill from the back row, and that's going to cause head coach Shane Davis to take a timeout for Northwestern.
18 kills, hit 533, so a little bit above that number, but still, what a start for her. She's been doing it from everywhere on the court, really getting her way.
Randorf with a big swing, and Nittany Lions having a little bit of trouble with it. Now Northwestern out of system. It's Randorf, but up by Penn State. 2 touches called on the Nittany Lions, so point Northwestern, and it's 16-15 out of the timeout. Ellie Stinson, the libero, back to serve for Northwestern. Sends it to Grimes. Now Merzick on the right side. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And Jess Merzick now with her 7th kill of the afternoon.
I mean, just some video game numbers at this point. Just hammering away. And I mean, there's just so much power. It doesn't matter where she's hitting it from. It doesn't matter if she's in the middle of the court, on the outside. She's got that accuracy to just slot it wherever she wants.
And now it's Chin on the other side with a kill. Excuse me, Penn State point. 18-15, Penn State on top. And Mac Pedraza back at the service line. We talk a lot about Jess Merzick and the game she's having, but it's also been Mac Pedraza distributing for her. But Pedraza sends it out. A little bit of confusion on the court, but there Penn State celebrating. Point for Penn State. And with that, Northwestern's going to take another timeout.
The last 6 points. Penn State's won the other 5. So it's kind of interesting thing against Wisconsin once again. They kind of lost that focus halfway through the first set as another Penn State point. And now at 2015, it's kind of how can you build back into the set and keep some momentum heading into the next set if this one slips away.
Penn State on a 4-0 run like you just alluded to, and Markley gets the cross-court kill there. So Northwestern looking to stop this momentum by Penn State. Pedraza sends it over. Dug by Wright. And now a free ball for Penn State. Pedraza setting up her offense. It's Hannah off the blockers. 21-15, Penn State.
It's just the power of these Penn State hitters. Doesn't matter if it's Merzick, doesn't matter if it's Hannah. They've got such a solid 1-2 punch that makes things so difficult for opposing defenses.
Penn State hitting at a 520 clip in set number 1. The serve. Right. Out to Chin. Blocked by Penn State, but Northwestern trying it again. Hannah gets it over. And it's 22-15 Penn State.
Yeah, I think it just hit off Drew Wright's right arm. Kind of unfortunate, though, because that might have actually been heading out. Couldn't quite see. But it looks like she just aided that one out.
A 6-0 scoring run for Penn State. Right. Stinson out of system for Northwestern, so they send it over with a free ball. Markley blocked, and Penn State will try again. Hannah once again with a kill. We've talked so much about Jess Merzick in this set, but Cameron Hannah sneaking up there with 6 kills of her own. Hannah, another transfer for Penn State, coming out of Clemson. All ACC second team. Now Randorf with a big swing. Grimes out to Markley. Blocked by Dodson. Dodson stops that 7-0 scoring run for Penn State. And a very timely block for the Northwestern middle. Now Gigi Navarrete with the serve. A little bit of miscommunication by Penn State. They send it over. Poked over by Rousseau, and she gets the kill.
And that's Rousseau's game right there offensively. If she's not setting up her teammates, she's got that lovely little dink for the point. Get some momentum here for Northwestern. 2 straight points for them.
Rousseau averages about 1 kill per set. She already has 2 here. And now a big swing for Penn State. That's Alexa Markley, and she makes it match point Penn State. (24-17) Penn State, set point. Stinson, Rousseau, Dotson on the slide. Northwestern staying alive thanks to Leilani Dotson. Maddie Chin serves it over. Grimes out to Merzick. Now Rousseau sets up San Giacomo. Grimes. Quick set to Trammell. She'll slam it down. Taylor Trammell wins set number 1 for Penn State with a score of 25-18, what was once tied at 14 apiece.
It's just such a nice compliment to everything Penn State's trying to do offensively. Obviously with Pedraza setting it all up too. I mean, they're just in such a fluid offensive rhythm right now.
Hannah already halfway to her season high in kills of 12. She takes a big swing. San Giacomo on the other side, and point number 1 goes to Northwestern.
And we've seen Northwestern start now both sets off a little bit hot, right? Getting the early lead, but it's going to be curious to see if they can kind of sustain that throughout, because we saw that kind of tail off halfway through the first set. Don't want to get a little too far ahead of ourselves here in set number 2, but they need to bring that intensity the entire time.
They get point number 2. And now Leilani Dotson at the service line again for Northwestern. Grimes. Pedraza has some trouble with it, and Northwestern on a 3-0 scoring run to start set number 2.
Yes, San Giacomo there just toeing the line, making sure that ball was way out. So Northwestern, strong start here.
Dotson sends it over. Grimes. Pedraza sets up Merzik. Now San Giacomo on the other side. It's Hannah. And once again, a big swing by Cameron Hannah. Now tied with Jess Merzik with 7 kills apiece. And now Penn State finally gets their first point of the set. Grimes with the serve. San Giacomo to Grimes. Now Merzik again. Off of Stinson, Jess Merzik getting the party started here in set number 2.
Hannah first point for Penn State. Merzik second point for Penn State. Seems like that's been the MO for them so far today. Just a little too far out of the way for Stinson to get a good dig on that.
Aside from Merzik and Hannah, the next closest is Alexa Markley with 2 kills. And now Penn State with the point ties it up at 3 apiece. The serve by Grimes. Stinson. Little joust at the net. It goes over on Northwestern's side. That's going to drop out of play.
Huseman there in the huddle, just trying to calm down this Northwestern team. Could hear her saying, just guys, calm down. We've got this. It's okay. Just calm down. Really focus back in.
Stinson. Back row by right, or excuse me, Chin. Now on the other side, it's Hannah. Cameron Hannah with another big kill. She makes it number 8.
There's just so much power in that swing that Northwestern really can't do anything. It's up to a matter of luck if you get a clean dig on it or not. Just the downward force there, as Chin had kind of already committed and made it awkward for her.
Tough serve from Penn State. Now it's San Giacomo. Dug out by the Nittany Lions. Free ball over for Northwestern. Alexa Rousseau goes over on 2, but read by Grimes. Now it's Merzik. And Jess Merzik, who else? Makes it 6-3, and now Northwestern's going to take an early timeout in set number 2 after a 5-0 scoring run by Penn State. Looking at the replay here. Just huge kill by Merzik. And we've seen that all afternoon. Northwestern looking to solve that going into the timeout, and we'll send it to break here on Big Ten. But it's blocked by Jess Merzik. She denies the Wildcats for the second block by Penn State today.
And that was a little bit of an awkward play by Huseman too. Kind of went too far to her right and then came back to hit that ball, and Penn State's blockers were in a good spot to just hammer that one down.
That one is sent out of play, and a service there by Penn State. Wildcats get their first point in 7 points. Alexa Rousseau to serve. 7-4 Penn State. Merzick out to Hannah. Cameron Hannah with another big swing. Can't say enough about her, Adam.
Really nice play by Pedraza setting up Hannah, going behind her back to Hannah, and the defense kind of was. No, I don't think the defense was expecting that one, because sometimes she'll go behind herself for sets there. But Hannah was just, no man's land, no blocker over there, and really able to just do what she's done all day.
Randorf sends it over the blockers. Now a little joust at the net, and Randorf gets it over. Catherine Randorf, we haven't really said her name too often, but she reads that beautifully, just taps it right back over. It's Drew right at the line. Pedraza sets it out to Merzick, and it's off the block. Jess Merzick now with her 10th kill.
I think she's trying to get more than 18 than she had at Rutgers, and she's on pace for it. If she keeps this up,
she'll send it over. Right. Rousseau, Chin. Cross-court kill for Maddie Chin. She's just getting her day started in the front row.
Really good job by Chin there, opening up the body, allowing herself to kind of hammer that one cross-court straight down rather than going down the line where Penn State had more defenders there to cover that.
It's been a pretty balanced attack for Northwestern. 3 Wildcats tied with 3 kills apiece. And Mac Pedraza just dumps it over, sticks out the tongue and says, I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this one.
Kind of similar to Rousseau and how crafty, and I mean, that's kind of just, their games. So effective with the ball on their fingertips, kind of can do whatever they want with it. Saw the opportunity and just dinked it over there for the Penn State point.
Yeah, giant hole left by the Northwestern defense there. They're on the attack, and it's Dodson, but she hits it out. Penn State quickly pulling ahead, 11-6.
Yeah, and the next couple points here are going to be really crucial if Northwestern wants to kind of stay with Penn State in this set. Penn State wins the next 3 or 4. It's going to be very, very difficult to rally back.
6 attacking errors for Northwestern so far. Now it's Rousseau to Randorf. Catherine Randorf trying to get this rally started for the Wildcats.
It's her 4th kill of the afternoon. I mean, she's got a lot of power in her swing, too. I think she's somebody that Northwestern can really build around for the rest of the season and moving forward into future seasons. A lot of talent there, and I think she's just getting started.
Tough serve by Navarrete. Merzick, though, gets it over, and it's just out of play. Northwestern gets the point off of a rare attacking error by Jess Merzick. Navarrette's serve is deep to Grimes. At the net, Pedraza tries to dump it over, but a little bit of a miscue there on her part.
Yeah, I don't think she quite realized how close she was to the net. And I think Dodson would have been able to put a hand on that, too, with her positioning.
Merzick, Pedraza, out to Markley, and that one's hit out as well. So some attacking errors stringing that along for Penn State. And now Northwestern inching closer. It's 11-10.
Really crucial points here for Northwestern, staying within the game.
Gigi Navarrete at the line again. And it's Markley with another attempt. She gets it down this time. Alexa Markley.
Yeah, just too far out of the reach of the sliding Stinson.
And looking at that replay, just places it perfectly cross court. Markley with her 3rd kill of the afternoon. Pedraza now at the line. It's right. Rousseau back set to Dotson, but it's kept up by Penn State. Free ball opportunity now for Northwestern. Rousseau goes back to Dotson. This time it's off the blockers. Markley up by Stinson, tight at the net. And Rousseau almost won that, but just gets it out of bounds.
I don't think she realized that she didn't win that point. Kind of confused there in the huddle. Very excited at the beginning, and then now that she's realized she didn't get the point.
Yeah, Northwestern started celebrating immediately after. And it's going to be reviewed. Shane Davis challenging the point. We'll take a look at that last play.
That's a big momentum play, too, because, you know, difference between 13-10, 12-11, trying to get Northwestern closer.
Both teams huddling up, waiting for this review. We're going to take a couple looks here, just at the net. Rousseau so confident that she won the point.
I think from the first angle, it looked slightly out. That one not super helpful with a player blocking where that ball landed. But either that ball was right on the line or it was slightly out. It's going to be a close play nonetheless.
But we talk about how huge this point would be for Northwestern's momentum. I mean, Penn State already winning set number 1, and a 13-10 lead is definitely different than 12-11. Northwestern starting to have a little bit more success in the last few points.
Yeah, and it's part of that focus, just staying in the game, staying with the game, as some of the Northwestern students doing the Macarena here during the official review. Not quite the turnout that maybe we were expecting after a record turnout against Wisconsin. Final tally, 4,889, a record for Northwestern volleyball here in Evanston.
It's great.
But still, pretty solid turnout for a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, great to see some youth teams doing the Macarena there too. Everyone getting in on it. So it's been a very long review, so interested to see how this turns out. And even Northwestern's bench kind of leading the charge in the Macarena as well.
They've always got so much energy over there, trying to hype up the crowd, bring, you know, that extra ounce of spirit. And it will go Penn State's way. It's clearly it was slightly just out.
So
tough break.
After a lengthy review, Penn State still ahead of 13-10. And it's Mac Pedraza once again at the service line. Her mother, Chris, also played volleyball in college at Minnesota, so it's in her blood. Rousseau now sets it up for Chin. Has to delay it a little bit. Now Merzick out to Hannah, off the block, covered by Navarrete. Chin's gonna try it again. Pedraza, back row to Merzick. Northwestern bumping into each other, has to send it over.
Get a stoppage here as there was a collision, I think, between Chin and Stinson as she's a little slow to get up.
Always hate to see it, but she does get up. Northwestern's trainer on the court with her. Serve is up and over. Rousseau bumps it out to Chin, and she gets the kill.
That was a laser beam. Beautiful play by Chin there, just hammering at it straight into the court. Well played by Northwestern. Alexa Rousseau with the assist.
Chin just displaying that power. And we've talked a lot about the impact transfers for Penn State, but Maddie Chin has definitely been one of those for Northwestern. 4 years at Purdue, played in over 62 matches in her career as a Boilermaker. Now it's Grimes out of system for Penn State. Doesn't matter, Cameron Hannah takes advantage. 14-11.
It looked like on that play, Stinson was going for the dig. Kind of did it a little bit slowly, wondering if kind of part of that, maybe if she's injured or not. Don't want to speculate too much, but she just kind of not fully 100%. Be interesting to see if she's still, going for stuff the rest of the match.
Now on Northwestern side of the net, Rousseau sets up Hernandez in the back row, but it's Trammell. She sends it over. Big up by Stinson. Hannah on the right side, blocked by Dotson and San Giacomo.
That's a big play by Northwestern as they're starting to get the crowd a little bit more into it. Staying with this Nittany Lions team. But really good job blocking there by the pair up front, making things difficult for Penn State.
And now a service error by Northwestern. Gives that point right back. But coming into this game, we highlighted Penn State's block leading the Big Ten. But they've been a little quiet at the net. Stinson, now San Giacomo off the block. Pedraza gets it up, so out of system. Merzik gets the kill.
I feel like we haven't said her name in a little bit.
We haven't, but we have said it a lot throughout this entire match. 11 kills now for Jess Merzik.
Yeah, she was tied with Cameron Hannah. Was like, I need another kill. I need to be in the lead.
Little back and forth team competition there. Rousseau bumps it out to San Giacomo. Big up by Penn State now. Merzik taps it over. Rousseau goes over on 2, but it's just a little bit too powerful.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was the right decision there. I feel like she was in a pretty good place to set that one over to a teammate.
Jillian Grimes to serve out of the timeout. Goes to the other libero, Stinson. Now on the right side, it's Huseman. Merzik off the block. And a little joust there now on Northwestern side. It's San Giacomo with a big swing. Pedraza goes out to Merzik again. Right in the corner, Jess Merzik. We've talked about her all afternoon, and she gets her 12th kill.
I mean, it looked like she was taking a little bit of a nap in the middle of the second set, kind of just, chilling out, not having too many kills, but 2 kills quickly here to keep it going. I mean, she's been everywhere today. It's really impressive.
And San Giacomo with a little bit of thunder there, reminding everyone of her presence. San Giacomo tied with Katherine Randorf at 4 kills apiece. Rousseau sends the serve over. A big swing there by Holland. And it's 19-13 Penn State.
And you kind of mentioned this earlier, but very balanced attack so far from this Northwestern team. No player with more than 4 kills. And, I mean, that's kind of a product of, especially with some of the offseason movement that happened with this Northwestern team. But you've got 4 players averaging over 2 kills a set. Just this team is Randolph, kind of awkward play there. Looked like she was trying to hit that one hard with a big swing, but then kind of misjudged it and went for the tip and kind of got neither.
That's her second attacking error of the afternoon. San Giacomo is going to get it, but just overpowers it, and Penn State really pulling away with this one here in set number 2, up by 8. Northwestern only hitting 138 in the match and hitting negatively in set number 2. So that one just dribbles down for an ace.
It's just a tough break. At this point, I mean, that's just a lucky play there by Penn State, and it kind of seems like those kind of plays have gone Penn State's way. They lead by 9 here in set 2.
Cassie Kirshen back at the line. Got her 4th ace of the season. That one's hit out by Northwestern. And now a 10-point lead for the Nittany Lions. And
I really think that Rousseau replay kind of sparked this Penn State run. Remember, it was 12-10. Rousseau hit the snap ball out of bounds. As Northwestern will get a point here on the service error. And then it goes to 13-10 when the play stands. And Penn State now at 23, Northwestern now at 14. Seems like that was really a turning point in the set.
Definitely. That service error just broke up a 5-0 Penn State scoring run. As Wright's back at the line. Grimes. And Northwestern denies Holland. Chin and Huseman. Big combo there for the block. And Northwestern trying to stay alive in set number 2. Fourth block on the afternoon for Northwestern. Pedraza sets up Merzick. And now it's Chin. Kurjan with the up. Merzick again. And she'll make it match point.
Had a really good read and jump on that one. Got straight up and slammed it right down. No chance for Northwestern there as Merzick just doing what she does best.
Taking a look at that one, just right in the center of the court. Now Merzick back to serve for set point. Right, a little bit of a misplay. So it's going to be a free ball for Penn State. Pedraza sets up Holland. Sent back over by Northwestern. Now it's Markley off the block. And Alexa Markley makes it. She's been on people's radars for quite some time. Showing her power here. Trammell out of the middle. Now it's Randorf. Dug up by Pedraza. Penn State out of system. It's Hannah. Diving play by Wright in the back row, but it goes into the net. And Penn State with point number 1.
Curious to see how Northwestern comes out here in this third set, obviously after losing the first 2 and kind of letting things slip away in each of those first 2.
Grimes with a tough serve, and she gets an ace.
Yeah, just awkward read there by Drew Wright. Didn't quite commit to it early enough and then had to lunge out for it. Wasn't in a good enough spot to put a nice dig on it to give Northwestern a chance.
She'll do it again. This time Northwestern gets it up. Maddie Chin on the attack. Joust at the net, and this time it's Randorf that sends it over.
Yeah, really impressive block there by Randorf, going straight up, putting those hands to the roof. Just doing enough to keep that one.
Kennedy Hill getting a little bit more of a piece of it there. Randorf and Hill have just been so tough at the net all season. Now on the other side, it's Hannah right down the line.
That was a great job keeping that ball away from the blockers on the Northwestern side and actually putting that right down the line. So instead of going kind of back towards the court, just keeping it on that side, taking the blockers out of it, really.
We talked about how Jess Merzick has her 5th consecutive match with 10+ kills. But Cameron Hanna also doing some damage. It's Merzick now on the other side. Quick set to Dotson. Kurjan gets it up. Merzick again, and this time she gets it down. Jess Merzick with kill number 14.
It's just a laser beam every time. Get another replay of that.
She just gets it over all 3 blockers. And now service error by Penn State cuts their lead in half. Gigi Navarrete on the other side, the first year, usually very dependable from the service line. Tough serve to Kurjan. Merzick off the blockers.
15th of the match. Her season high is 26, so I don't think she's going to quite get that high. But once again, whatever she wants, she is getting. And Northwestern's had no answer for her so far.
Hitting .565 on the afternoon. And now she gets an ace. Like you said, whatever Jess Merzick gets, or whatever she wants, she gets.
Yeah.
And there it is with an ace.
It's on a silver platter for her right now.
It's definitely not luck for Jess Merzick, one of the most talented players in the Big Ten. Targets Gigi Navarrete again. Now Northwestern out of system. Chin sends it over. It's Markley. Penn State trying it again. Back set to Holland. And she hits it off the blockers. Makes it 7-2. And now Northwestern really trying not to slip away here early in set number 3. We're going to send it to replay here, looking at that last point. A little bit of a timing issue for the Chin and Dotson block. They're going to try to figure that out in the timeout as we head to break. Northwestern, Penn State, a ranked opponent in Purdue as well. Big Ten schedule just never gets easier.
Yeah, when I was talking to Coach Davis the other day, we kind of asked him, you know, what, if you had to talk about the Big Ten schedule, like what are you calling the Big Ten schedule? And he just said grueling. And that's really what it's been for Northwestern. I mean, their first one against Wisconsin, now Penn State. They've got Purdue in a couple days. Tough opponents at the beginning of the schedule for them.
Chin to serve. And she gets an ace. Maddie Chin confuses Jess Merzick a little bit. And her ace makes it 7-4. So 2 quick points after the timeout for Northwestern.
And I guess looking at Penn State's schedule too, just kind of circling back, I think that game against Minnesota is going to be really, really crucial because they've already lost to Florida and Georgia Tech to start the year. They lost to Louisville too. They don't really have that kind of big win that they need. And I think Minnesota is one to circle where kind of is that measuring stick in the Big Ten of where do they rank? Because right now I think it's really Wisconsin, Nebraska. Those are far and away those 2 superior teams, but they're kind of in that Minnesota range. Be a big win for them.
And a big block for Northwestern there. See it here on the replay. Big celebrations by the Wildcats. They're starting to feel it here in set number 3. Pedraza at the net, goes to Merzick, back row, but denied. Back-to-back blocks for Northwestern.
That time, Mulaney Dodson denying Penn State. And it's that defensive intensity, too, and just that timing on the blocks. Something that Northwestern really needs to clean up. Haven't really seen it all of today, but over these last couple of points we have.
Chin keeps it up, now free ball for Penn State. Back set to Holland, blocked again, but just bounced over. Rousseau tips it over on 2. Penn State. Now Markley with the kill. And after a longer rally, Penn State escapes with it.
Really loved that idea by Rousseau on the dink, but unfortunately just put it right to Grimes, who set it back up, and Penn State was able to rally and get the point there. But 8-6 here early in set 3. Northwestern still hanging around.
Navarrete. And now Dotson, but it's kept up by Penn State. Free ball opportunity for Northwestern. Back set to Dotson. Dotson with a little bit of thunder. And it's 8-7 very quickly here in set number 3. Leilani Dotson has kind of been carrying this team on her back after that timeout. Now has 4 kills on the afternoon and 5 blocks. She sends it over, tough serve, now free ball for Northwestern. San Giacomo, and it's off of Grimes into the crowd. San Giacomo really making her name known here in set number 3. Dotson heads back to the service line, and it's suddenly tied up 8-8. The serve. And Dotson with an ace gives Northwestern their first lead of set number 3.
Northwestern bench absolutely loving it, going crazy, pulling out the dance moves. Northwestern tasting that lead.
Northwestern has been pretty effective from the service line. 4 aces on the afternoon, only 2 errors. Penn State, on the other hand.
Yeah, just a quick stoppage to wipe something on the court there, but Dotson serving.
Right back to that spot. Kirshen gets it this time, and it's Trammell in the middle. Stops the 3-0 scoring run for Northwestern, and it's tied up at 9. Back and forth we go in set number 3. Pedraza with the serve. Navarrete. Rousseau sends it to San Giacomo, but denied by Trammell and Hannah.
Yeah, the length up there, I mean, from Penn State. There's a reason they lead the Big Ten in blocks per set, thanks in large part to those two. Just see what they're capable of. I mean, really good job with the timing, and that's what blocking large part comes down to. And of course, you got to be tall. It's all about the timing and really making sure that you've got the other team's offense kind of locked in.
Tough play here for Northwestern. Now it's on their side again. San Giacomo, she gets the kill. Ties it right back up at 10 apiece.
Yeah, really nice start to the third set here for San Giacomo. A couple quick kills, keeping Northwestern hanging around.
San Giacomo just has so much power. I mean, head coach Shane Davis, when we talked to him, pointed to so many impact transfers like Chin and San Giacomo. Now it's Hannah on the other side. Hits it right down the line, and now Cameron Hannah with her 13th kill of the afternoon. That's a season high for Hannah. Chin. Now San Giacomo's just forced to set it over. Penn State on the other side. Back-to-back kills for Cameron Hannah. Make that number 14.
Trying to chase Merzick down. They've been neck and neck throughout the entire day in the kill department.
What's been so impressive about Cameron Hannah is, yes, she has 14 kills, but only on 18 attempts. So that one's sent out by Penn State. But she's hitting at a 722 clip for the afternoon. I mean, just unheard of numbers.
Big part of why Penn State's hitting at a 418 clip in this match, too. And then in comparison, Northwestern at 133 really tells the tale of those first two sets.
The hustle by Stark to send it back over. Now it's Randorf. She gets the kill, ties it up at 12. We talked a lot about, Penn State's attack being led by their big duo up front, but for Northwestern, it's a lot more balanced. Randorf now with 5 kills, second on the team next to San Giacomo's 6. Now it's Trammell in the middle for Penn State.
And the good thing about a balanced attack is because, it makes it a little bit harder to defend. You don't really know who Northwestern's trying to set things up for, but at the same time, you don't really have that far and away person that can get you a kill when you need a kill, as Northwestern has kind of struggled with that a little bit today.
Maddie Chin sends it over, and she gets the point. Two hits called on Penn State.
I kind of mentioned this earlier about kind of seeing how Northwestern was going to show up in this third set after losing the first two. But, it's tied at 13, but we've seen the first two sets when it's kind of been in this low teen range, the score, Northwestern's kind of let things slip away, kind of lost that focus piece. And Penn State's really capitalized in those first two sets. So it's going to be interesting to see now 14-13 if Northwestern's able to keep this focus throughout.
See
as you've got another replay there.
Cameron Hannah there with her 15th kill of the afternoon. Ties Jess Merzick on top for Penn State, but Dodson on the other side. She's not going away. Leilani Dotson with 5 kills of her own. Kirshen now out to Merzick. She just rolls it over. You see there on the replay, just hitting it down the line for Jess Merzick, and now she's back at the service line. Navarrete. And Rousseau tries to go over on 2, but just rolls around the net, drops on her side. So Penn State escapes and now up by 2. But we've seen this all day by Rousseau trying to go over on 2, and it hasn't been as effective for her as it has been all season.
Yeah, she hasn't quite had that touch today that we kind of have come to expect of her almost.
Stinson. Now Chin overpowers it, so Penn State with a 3-point lead now. And after that, I mean, Northwestern and Penn State were going, trying to get the sweep. Jess Merzick at the line. She just dribbles it over the net. And Chin sends it over. Penn State out of system. Markley. Now on the other end, it's Dotson on the slide. And Pedraza just pokes it over the net. She's pretty happy about it. And the Nittany Lions get the point out of the timeout.
And in all the focus of Cameron Hanna and Jess Merzick today, as you see another view of the Pedraza poke, Pedraza's had an excellent match too. I mean, what she's been able to do setting up her teammates, but also getting a couple kills too, and just really being kind of that tying knot in this Penn State offense. 31 assists, 6 digs, just doing a little bit of everything.
Jess Merzick with the serving error gives Northwestern a point. Now it's Markley getting it down for the kill. Penn State gets the side out. Taking a look here at that big swing. And now Allie Holland, the middle blocker, back to serve. A tough one there. Dotson keeping it up. Free ball now for Penn State. Pedraza at the net. Sets Merzick in the back row. Nothing Maddie Chin can do about that one.
When Merzick gets a clean look like that, you might as well just tally the point up already, because she isn't going to miss often.
Holland sends it over. Now it's Dotson on the slide. Leilani Dotson keeping our team alive here in set number 3. And now Lauren Carter makes her first appearance of the afternoon. The sophomore setter from Winterset, Iowa. Markley with the big hit. Up by Navarrete, and now it's San Giacomo at the net. And it falls on Penn State's side. Julia San Giacomo wins the joust.
Yeah, just out-jumped. That simple, especially with her height at 6'5". A little bit easy to do that for the Northwestern point.
Carter with the tough serve. Now Penn State out of system. Goes to Markley. It's up by Northwestern and poked over. Pedraza went over on 2, and Northwestern couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, just catching Northwestern off guard. Pedraza really keeping this Northwestern defense on their heels. She'll go to the service line.
Mac Pedraza, the 3-time All-American, sends the serve over. Rousseau setting up San Giacomo, gets it down for the kill. Big side out there for San Giacomo. Rousseau with a tough serve. Back set out to Markley. Stinson. Now San Giacomo. A little bit too much power there, and it's point Penn State.
Yeah, I think that ball was just slightly behind where she intended it to be. So when she went to go make her attack for it, she kind of had to keep her arm back a little bit second longer and cause that one to go astray.
Stinson receives the serve, and now it's Randorf. Big swing there, but Penn State handles it. Now it's Merzick on the other side. She overpowers it. So back-to-back attacking errors for both teams. Excuse me, they did call a touch there. So Penn State up now 23-18. Stark with the serve. San Giacomo on the slide. And whenever they've needed a side out, Alexa Russo has always targeted Julia San Giacomo, just showing not only her power, but her maturity. Wright with the serve off the net. Now Merzick up by Wright. Randorf on the other side, blocked by Penn State. Stinson sends it over to Chin. And that one's hit out. And now match point coming up for Penn State. It looks like we're gonna head into an official review. Head coach Shane Davis going to ask the officials to take a look at that. Taking a few looks at it, trying to figure out if there was a touch on that last point. And just talking a little bit about this third set for Northwestern, a lot better fight. This one would be huge to not force a match point.
Didn't quite look like there was a touch there from that vantage point. But as you mentioned, better fight from Northwestern here. Really good to see that they, kind of had that intensity throughout. But this would be a big review here if it went Northwestern's way. Giving them a little bit, so we get one more view there. Ooh, might have been close on the block. They'll take a look at it.
Head coach Shane Davis there discussing. But he's already challenged one of another play earlier on. That one did not go his way. Both teams a lot more serious during this review. A lot of dancing going on in the other one. And this one does go Northwestern's way. There was a touch off the block. So Maddie Chin awarded the kill. And it's no longer match point. So 23 to 20, the score. And this could be where a lot of momentum happens for Northwestern. Wright serves it over. Now Pedraza setting up Trammell in the center. Free ball for Penn State. They'll try it again with Trammell. This time it works, and now it's match point for Penn State.
Doesn't matter if it's from the outside or from the middle. Penn State, the hitting efficiency has been so impressive, and it's a big reason why they won their first two sets and they're on the verge of winning their third.
Tough serve for Northwestern to handle. Randorf with the kill.
Really clean play there from Northwestern, totally in rhythm. Randorf able to elevate and slam it home for the Northwestern point.
Stinson back at the service line for Northwestern. Tough serve by her. Now on the outside, it's Hannah, little delayed. But she gets the kill. And with that, Penn State gets the sweep over Northwestern in Evanston. 25-21, the final score in set number 3. But
आंसुआ गिरै छे दिलवा रोए के जान गिरानी हमर अखिया से आंसुआ गिरै छे दिलवा रोए के जान।
गंगाजल रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो महादेवगंज साहेबगंज।
तोरा बिना हम जीना ही पाइबो तू जहाँ चल गेली और हम आइबो तोरा बिना हम जीना ही पाइबो तू जहाँ चल गेली और हम आइबो गिरन तोरा याद में आंसुआ बहे छे दिलवा रोए बेजान गिरन तोरा याद में आंसुआ बहे छे दिलवा रोए बेजान।
गंगाजल रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो महादेवगंज साहेबगंज।
के करा सहारे रहबै के करा से तू बोलिया बोलबै अशोक अकेला के कहलू कि साथ न छोड़बै के करा सहारे रहबै के करा से तू बोलिया बोलबै अशोक अकेला के कहलू कि साथ न छोड़ब के रानी सोनी लागे आंसुआ गिरैले देहिया काप के लगे जा के रानी हमर अखिया